David, Mr. Haas,
Here.
Ms. Hum,
Here.
Ms. Schuster,
Here.
Mr. Slack,
Here.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Walters, here, Mr. Wright, Mrs. Gilnetzer.
Okay, and has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes? And if they have, do they have any comments or corrections?
Move to approve.
I second it. I haven't read it.
That's usually where you do
That's good. Plus, because I was giving everybody an opportunity. Okay. On page 5 of 5, Mary Smith agreed to start by the school and get boundary maps. I thought I was supposed to get lists of concerns. Not that it's a big deal, I didn't read the word. I apologize.
And I think that is correct.
List of concerns?
Yes. But I'll try to get boundary maps if you want me to.
We got the school district that raise our hand.
Yeah.
That process is being revised. We were taking one last look at them this last week. We're supposed to have new boundary maps. Sometime this week or next week.
Okay.
I didn't check on the exact date today. I just checked on the last week. So, you need to have your maps on this road. Switch your boundaries.
Oh, sure. That's great.
It's really very neat.
Actually, it would be something that would be really nice to turn over to our GIS department, and maybe they could add that as a layer.
That would be nice.
To the mapping system.
That would be great.
I'm sure that they do.
Thank you. Okay, so we have one correction. Do we have a motion to approve?
That's corrected.
Thank you. The second?
Second. That's corrected.
Did you get that, Kathy? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Those abstained?
Aye.
Okay, so the minutes are approved. On the agenda analysis, I have a addition to the TSP update. There's some information on that. Do you have any other additions? Okay, then the other addition that I'm going to start with okay, we will do that. So we have David and Marcia Skinner in the group with us, and I'd like to invite them up to say whatever you want to say.
I don't know about that.
Sometimes you remember we're being taped, so yeah, this is 3 minutes.
I like this read. I live at 1876 Mile Drive, and last September.
Thank you.
It's in a gradual corner, but last September I awoke to a large crash. Somebody had crashed through my neighbor's fence and into our house. Into our house.
Okay, can you give me a cross street on something?
Gentry Meadows,
Okay,
where the water tower is at. And
especially water.
that's the church.
Oh, I remember the fence, yes.
It's been called a minor arterial, but nobody obeys the speed limit and they go easily 40 or so through that corner, and it was hit again on Sunday morning at 3:30 a.m. We had just built, cost us $6,700 to build a concrete wall with rebar reinforcement to try to protect ourselves from it happening again, and they destroyed half the wall. And we've requested and asked before if something could be done to slow traffic down in some ways, or something that could be done. And it had no luck as yet. Requesting somebody look into this and maybe speed bumps or something, or guardrail to protect our property, something.
So you're looking for something on South End?
Yes.
That's gonna be a tough sell.
To protect our house right there in the corners. I think people coming towards coming south, get through that four-way stop sign, and they just think open road, and they just gun it going around that corner. And then all of a sudden, they're surprised that they can't make that turn, I guess.
The speed limit goes from 35 and around the corner is 25 miles per hour, but that is just people fly through there. Bearing in mind that I noticed that I not only live in Royal City, but I work in Royal City. Most of the people down South End they commute to work. I understand maybe the frustration or whatever, but there was no speed enforcement on this road, and both these individuals live further down South End.
Both the
For whatever
individuals
reason,
that crashed on
what's
your
that?
corner. Both the individuals that crashed on your corner?
Yes. And I believe it's led to a permissive attitude that they can just go as fast as they want, and they try and slingshot themselves through that corner to get down, maybe to get home. But then both these drivers are impaired. And I think it's just they've grown accustomed to this, going as fast as they can.
During the
No
daylight hours.
police officers. So if there's any kind of impairment, they no longer have that kind of reaction time. And coming into bad weather, people are not going to have that reaction time either. I look out my kitchen in my dining room, and it's almost like looking down the barrel of a gun, because I know there's a car that one day is just going to go right through that. This has happened twice in 13 months. Twice. It's amazing to me that nobody died in the wreck or in our house. My son-in-law used to fall asleep watching TV in that room because they were staying with us for a little bit. My grandsons played in the backyard.
Yeah, it's a rough situation. Okay, I know we can notify the police that this is an issue, and obviously if there's been 2 accidents, they should know. But we can do, John, what other options do we have
I have
available for
notified
us?
the chief of police and Lieutenant Band, and I know the Oregon City Police Department has a lot of responsibilities, and maybe not the manpower to do it, but I have emailed them. They said they would do something about it. So far, I've lived there for 10 years. I've never seen anybody pulled over. Never. And that's a school bus stop in the morning, too. And traffic is very heavy in the morning and in the evening because of commuters. And on weekends, it's just
So here's, I live on Warner Parrot, just off South End.
it's a free-for-all. There's construction going on down on Rose Road further, Rose Construction. Dump trucks come flying through there. They must be on time schedule for delivering concrete or materials or lumber packages. They come flying through there. There's kids, people that walk in that area, and trying to cross that is almost, we've probably never seen anybody try and do that. The people that live in this community would never ever cross that road. There's a church further down, there's a church above it. It's very frustrating.
And a person is trying to enter Gentry Way, so you're putting on your signal and stopping to wait for traffic so you can turn left on Gentry Way. Cars don't wait for you; they fly around in the bike lane. They just 40 miles an hour around the bike lane to, I mean, they're not even supposed to be driving there. I don't think.
because they won't wait.
You can look on Maxwell Court, the curb is instruct, people trying to take the inside to go around you. If you're making a left-hand turn in the Gentry Way going south on South End Road, they'll cut in and go right through where the bike lane is, like my wife said. You can see that curb has been hit, it's being degraded. Actually, we were trying to sell our house. We had a realty sign that was right there on that corner, and it got hit.
Okay. We can notify the police. What else can we do? Because I don't, within the rules, I don't see getting speed bumps on South End.
A guardrail, possibly, placards, reflectors. I know at the end of Pease Road in Elyria, there's a guardrail that protects nothing but trees.
Mm-hmm.
And there's placards or reflective to show a corner. There's nothing on the other side of that guardrail to protect. I'm living on that other side.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, getting impaired drivers and don't care about striking.
True, but I mean, it's just an awareness.
Yeah.
Even impaired drivers don't get one of this.
You've already put up a ball?
Yes, after the first time they hit, you need to put something up.
And now the wall's been hit.
The wall's been hit, and it's been knocked over. And both drivers have insurance, and they're covered by insurance. So if you have an uninsured driver that hits this wall, our insurance company has told us your rates will increase.
The other thing, like I said, I drive too often, really notice where the sun's going to get on that mark. Any of it has those kind of things that are against that moment. I think if I had people that know they fall asleep.
The trailer delivered with the speed sign, remembered it. They put it right in front of the 25-mile-an-hour sign. They put up their own signs at 35 miles per hour. I just don't know what to do now. I mean, on the weekends, it's dreaded.
I'm afraid to go to sleep.
I thought would be if we had contact with our
I asked code enforcement if we could park our trailer there with a reflective toolbox in the front, too, because it would catch headlights. No, you can't do that. You can't park a trailer in the right of way.
Now that our wall is knocked
Why
down,
don't you have any
we're
rights to
we're
protect
supposed
that?
to be
Well, yeah, there's a law. I just, can't, sidewalk right along there. We haven't just been guardrail up on commercial.
The police have not been able to, have you talked to the chief, you said?
I emailed him,
Oh, okay.
and he emailed me back, and then Lieutenant Van, who is their traffic enforcement, he emailed me and he said that he would note it to his sergeants to direct their patrols to that area, but
Well, can we make a request ourselves to the police department on this particular issue? One of the things that I've noticed in my neighborhood is since they've added police officers, I've seen some radar set up down on Vulcan. So, you know, sometimes over a period of time, that's a deterrent to people that are constantly speeding. So,
Saturday night after the bars are closed, might be.
do they do radar at night?
Well, I don't know, but now they're working 10 shifts.
Yeah, they're doing a new shift thing, supposed to give them.
So there's a
I'm
lot
off
better
there.
coverage
Yeah.
at that point in time.
I would just be happy with the slowing down. I don't want to punish people, I just want them to slow down.
But radar sends a message.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to send a message to.
Okay, so we can send a letter to the police chief and request
Or an email.
an email.
Hopefully that just supports what you've done. So. Thank you for your concern. Sounds like.
Yes, letting us know.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Scary. No, it's they're incredible. Jared, so.
I don't know why they were here.
Okay, and Safe Routes to School discussion by Mr. Ted Armstead. Sorry.
As a frame of reference, to put this in context, this has to do with the change of the speed limit on Beaver Creek Road. It fronts the high school. We've been working with the city and the county in order to make the change that the city and the county is interested in making, with the goal of putting in flashing lights, which I think I came to a meeting a couple of years ago and proposed. So that's where we're at, and one of the ways to make that happen is to come up with a safe routes to school plan, and that's currently what we're working on. What I brought you tonight was just our timetable for trying to get that done with all the steps you go through in order to do a safe routes to school plan. I would just hit a couple of the items. We've had some problems getting some parents involved with the high school with the plan, but we finally are in the process of doing that. We have 3. I only have names of 1, but we actually have 3 parents and students involved in that. They're all parents and students who either walk or bike to school. We haven't gotten a representative from this group, but that's my fault. I haven't called and said, please, we'd like a representative from this group, at least to have a name on our list.
Actually, you do.
Do we?
Yes, John submitted my name as representative from this group.
Right, that's
That's great.
wonderful. Great, thank you very much. We're still, I don't have a neighborhood association member, and again, I've just not had time to make that happen. I've got the name of the person I need to call, I just haven't done that. We've done some virtual observation. We have 1 more of those to do. We look at how many kids we see walking, how much traffic we see coming into the parking lot, and I'm just kind of moving down through this. We had a meeting, and we're working on the mapping. We got a map from the city, and we're now pinpointing where kids are walking from and the paths that they walk. Then our next piece of that, and I'm skipping over the student tally because we did that on 10-6, as it says here. We've gotten about a number of students who walk or bike or skateboard to school, and we attaching parent names to those so we can follow up with addresses and really define the walking paths. But then we're going to go out and walk the routes that those kids use to come to school and find out if there are other routes that they would use if they were available or safer. And so that's supposed to happen as soon as we get the mapping done so we know where those are. And we're just about through with that. Toby Pucha's name is on here, and he's our contact at the high school. He's a teacher working to get his administrative credential, and they have to do a practicum, and they have to have a practical experience in order to do that. And it was an ideal situation for him to volunteer to help us, and he's doing a great job. As we turn it over, parent survey, we're in the process of finalizing that. We're hoping to we're working on putting a school message system in place for a company called Centervoice, which will allow us instant communication with our parents, primarily doing that from an attendance standpoint, and it will also allow us to do surveys, make announcements, and send out notifications of emergencies and things like that. So we're hoping that system will be in place so we can use it. It was supposed to be done this week. It looks like we're going to be delayed a week, but we'll get a survey out to the parents. And we're basically using the materials for Safe Routes to School. So it's a rather extensive booklet on how you make this happen, and they have a parent survey in there that we'll modify and use for that purpose. Got the video, got the high school video groups, going to take some videos of kids walking and bike riding to school, so we're underway with getting that done. Our transportation supervisor is in the process of interviewing bus drivers, the bus drivers that go in and out of the high school. We have 60 buses that operate in and out of there on a daily basis, 30 in the morning and 30 in the afternoon, plus all the special ed buses. So we're in the process of seeing what the input from the bus drivers. And then we've got the traffic volume counts and the traffic crash data. The county and the city have provided that. So sometime next week, if we get all the volunteers back together, we'll summarize that data and begin developing an action plan to submit to the county. And our goal is to have that done by the 16th of November. So that's where we are on our Safe Routes school plan at the high school. I would say that when we get this one done, we're using this sort of as a dry one to learn how to do this. We've got a couple other schools that we're going to be interested in doing Safe Routes to School to. So.
That's great. So does that fit into our year plan?
It's a time-consuming process, getting everybody involved and doing all the work, but I think it's worth it. And the nice thing about doing it for elementary schools, there's a grant program connected with it, as you probably all know, but there's no grant program connected for a high school. There's programs connected for K-8.
Yeah.
So we're planning to do a couple of elementary schools next. And
Holcomb Elementary, one of your top priorities?
not really at this point, because we're still busing most of the kids that go to Holcomb, other than the ones that live on the north side that don't have to walk up the new sidewalk on Holcomb Boulevard. The state requires us, whenever they put a sidewalk like that along the road, the state requires us to declare that a safe route to school and to not provide transportation in that area. We don't get reimbursed for it, basically. And see, we get reimbursed for transportation within outside of a mile of an elementary school, mile and a half for a secondary school, middle school, or high school. So if we want to get reimbursed inside of that mile, then we have to file a supplemental plan with the state of Oregon. And as soon as you put in a nice sidewalk, like this along that north side of Holcomb Boulevard, your ability to file a supplemental plan and have it accepted goes away. But we're still busting those kids because, number one, that project is not done, or it wasn't done the last time I drove it. It's getting closer. But we're just really concerned about the speed of traffic on Holcomb Boulevard. We just having kindergarten kids. If I had a kindergarten kid or a first grader, second grader, I will let them walk up that sidewalk. And I went and walked that sidewalk 2 times at the start of school because we were trying to get kids to do that. And after doing that, the transportation supervisor and I both did that. We decided, no, we'll continue to bus those kids. So.
Yeah, well, we met with neighborhood representatives, met with some PTA representatives, and they said that at their last PTA meeting, they had like 20 or 30 parents that are very interested in trying to promote safety, and they're very concerned about the hazardous aspects of that whole entrance and speeds and curve and all of that. So we really do want to make it a priority, and I'm wondering, Dave, we're talking about, what kind of options are there? Whether they could have a flashing light or a speed change, or safe routes to school program. And we're really interested in looking at the whole suite of options that are available and really try to address those problems. Because I think they've said that ever since Park Place School closed, they've noticed a pretty dramatic increase in the number of cars that are, using that route and speeds, and they said that, there's just a lot more traffic conflicts in general, and I think, it would be nice if we could work with you folks to make that a priority, but I don't know what it takes to get on your list.
We can certainly add it to the list. I'm not saying it's not on the list. I'm just saying that it wasn't our first choice of the school to work on. King is probably our first choice.
What's the criteria for prioritization?
A number of kids we have walking.
Okay.
And we don't, like I say,
Your kids walking, even though you have a more dangerous situation, it's still lower priority.
we've had a kid get hit on Warner Parish. So
That's more dangerous than what you're talking about.
Okay.
we don't have any sidewalk along the north side of, all we have is a bike path, and we have kids that use that every day. And then we have Mount Pleasant, which is it's also, we're crossing Leland or Leland, I get mixed up with one kid, but, my feeling is, I would like to get rid of the signs. I don't want John to hear me say this, John Foger. I would like to get rid of the signs that say 20 miles an hour from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. We don't need that speed during that time, and I think a driver comes by the school at 2:30 or 3 o'clock and knows the school's out, and they're just not slowing down to 20 miles an hour, or they're mad because they have to slow down to 20 miles an hour. So I'm not going to say that the school district would pay to put flashing lights all over town, nor would you probably want flashing lights all over town, but that is one way to solve the problem. Where we have major crossings that go across main highways. But we'll certainly put Holcomb on the list. We are concerned about Holcomb. We eliminated a bus stop coming up Holcomb because we were holding up traffic. So we try to pay attention to what's going on, and Holcomb is dangerous. There's some you can't see coming down that hill. You can't see what's below that hill, and that to me is really scary if you're not paying attention. We don't have bus stop signs up on that. I don't know whether we did before we did the project or not. I definitely want to see us put a couple of bus stop ahead signs on that road. So, I agree with you. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I understand.
But we're busing most of the kids to that school, so, and we're doing it just because it's dangerous.
Is it the whole, to what point in Holcomb did you get transferred? Okay, so it's within the city, it's within that, okay, that's good to know.
So we have signing authority over that. I just like to get kind of perspective on how they do sign for school owns property that runs, even though the right of way is a public right of way is not like King, right? I mean, with people at school owned right near the driveway. So to me, that's open. Now, like Green Creek Road, you're gonna have all those canvases.
Yes.
So that conversation needs to happen. I guess that's our conversation.
I think school zone signs are something we definitely ought to have, but nobody follows the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. I mean, I did a speed study out there, which was helped us improve that intersection. That was 7 or 8 years ago. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, we clocked 200 cars. The average speed was 53 miles an hour and a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. 7 years ago. Yeah, I mean, you got a couple of things. One, you're coming from county to city, so people are used to driving a little faster, and then you've got downhill. So, both of those, I think, tend to. What you do, if I do 40, people want to run me over coming down there.
That's what we noticed when we walked it for 2 days at the start of school. The traffic was picking up speed coming down that hill. So,
Is the sign up to date there? Because the last time I was through there, the sign was probably a quarter to half a mile from the school, going out Holcomb Road. 40-mile-an-hour sign.
So there's several 40-mile-an-hour signs.
They must have just put them up because there wasn't anything.
Traffic issues and the sign.
Because we're, I don't know, 6 months away, we reported, talked about it here, we did. Because it was way back where the old airport used to be. Where the first one was, and the second one wasn't down until Swan, I want to think. I don't know the street that's over by the project there.
Yeah.
Is 40 miles an hour still warranted? Well, I'm just thinking
That's
now
what happened if you
now
do
that it's a
speed
city street, I mean, it seems like, because you're close to the center, yeah. Right. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So you might need purple. Also first it.
Yeah.
It might go up.
What I don't understand is how in the world now, if they got this electronic notification, parents, can you lose your note on the way home from school that you got from the teacher?
Well, you see,
Not that I have to do that.
well, you know that you can rely on a K through third grader to get that note home, and about 90% or 95%. Then the reliability stops to drop. As the kid moves up through the grade levels, so we'll use that notification system for those grades where we know the reliability is not as good as it should be.
Okay, did you have anything else, sir? Thank you very much for coming. I will give you a call tomorrow morning. I have your office number and give you my email and my phone number.
Okay, call me after about 9, okay?
Okay.
Because I have meetings starting about 7:30, so.
And you're gonna work with the Coffeyville Neighborhood Association?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great work.
Thank you. Okay, downtown parking committee.
I know that the city staff now is beginning to work on some of the easier things to do. I think I reported that last time. There is a little bit of friction between the perception of how fast things should happen by downtown business owners, I guess, and how fast things are doing. And basically that came out in a meeting I was in with the city manager this last week. So, hopefully we can kind of bring those two things together as far as implementation. There's a lot of things to do, and the concept was to kind of take the easiest things as far as implementation first. Some of the other things, like maybe looking at whether our parking tickets are the right amount or whether the parking rate is the right amount, and doing those things will take a little bit longer than restriping or changing out meters that are 8-hour meters to 2-hour meters and some of the other things. I think and striping some other spots. Some of those things seem to be a little easier. So I think that's the intention of staff, and I know that there's growing anticipation of downtown for something to happen. So, and I think Mr. Fraser saw that in the meeting we had last week. So, anyway.
Excellent. Okay, 99 Eternal.
So she's always present there. I think she feels like there's a lot going on with that, and it doesn't want that too hard, so she's trying to walk that fine line, doing things like funding and corridor meetings.
You mean the 2-8, the 2-8?
The sidewalks, the bridge replacement projects.
Well, it'd be nice if, we kind of caught them at the end of their funding cycle, or the end of their budget cycle, and maybe they already did their budget. So, maybe if we keep kind of reminding them early enough that in the next budget cycle that, maybe they can budget something in for that. I don't know. Is your budget cycle
It's about
June 30th?
budget.
Oh, 2 years?
Yes.
Oh, maybe we really missed them.
Yes, we did, because they have presented their budgets for the next 2 years. That'll go to legislature this spring.
Well, there went my theory. Right.
Right now they're having huge issues with tracking the stimulus money that's coming to the entire state. So,
So maybe we could
we're
find,
going very
maybe we
slow.
could find some of that, huh?
Big breakfast.
Well, I'm leaving it with you because I want to be too aggressive, and I don't want to, we
These
gotta-
are other things.
exactly. So, yeah, those who are in the know need to hold me back.
Okay, moving on with holding back, the turn signal at 14th and 99E. We have an accident down there.
So he came to me, and we did that to sell out tables. So we said we would take it to us, and I did that. And we looked around, looked at it, he sent me an email that we provided before. So basically, he went and looked at it, he did make some. Basically, state the range of GAs that not turn so that concern well shot that hard one, there's a flashing yellow arrow there that flashes and means that the opposite way. And I think that Disney that's easy to drive and
Well, and I thought Donald's concern was that he felt that the green portion of the light was very short, and then it moved to the flashing yellow. But I come through there pretty often, and I haven't noticed that, so. Unless there just happened to be a blip at that point in time for some reason.
I love the flashing yellow because if there's no traffic coming the other way, you don't have to wait for another cycle in order to make a turn, you know. So I think it's a great invention.
Is it possible that the queue, if there's only one or two cars in the queue, that the solid, and so maybe that's
why.
yeah, maybe that's when she went through, and maybe that's when he went and observed it.
Yeah.
But when there's a longer queue, the arrows getting longer.
Green.
I think we were trying to close that island, so it was, and, I had a conversation with him.
I think we're considering it closed.
Yes.
Very good. Downtown circulation study.
Basically, you know, we had public hearings, we've had input on that. Right now, I know that Nancy Krushauer and Lloyd are really trying to find money with ODOT, you know, to do some of the. It costs a little less money up front because the bridge is going to be closed, and I don't think some of those traffic signal things have to be done till the bridge opens in 2 years. But there's some other less expensive things that could be done when the bridge closes that will allow the two-way traffic to go into effect. And the two-way traffic has like an increase from 3,000 cars per day to 5,000 cars per day in front of the retail, which is a significant, which could be a significant boost to retail, resulting from the downturn related to the bridge closure. So in that 2-year interim, I mean, even after 2 years will be a benefit, but we're trying to find things that in the closure of the bridge will help the downtown merchants have some additional. So right now, it's funding, and I understand. I believe that David Fraser also had offered to dialogue for some funds with ODOT. So.
Yeah, as far as I know, that one's continues to move forward as well. I'm not sure if it's
No, well, no. Poor John was gone at a conference last week, and I put this agenda together and put his name on stuff, and this is one of those things, and it's going to the transportation. It's going to the city commission tomorrow. A resolution to adopt the study. Yeah.
Circulation study.
No, the circulation study. And so, anyway, because you're the TAC, I thought you really need to see the resolution that's up for adoption, and I'm not sure if you were aware, but there was a joint planning commission, city commission meeting in which they talked about this, and they had a presentation from Crandall Randula, and anyway, you know, it was kind of like, okay, well, why wasn't the TAC invited? And they kind of thought, well, maybe that was, it was unintentional, and maybe it should have occurred. And so I just wanted to make sure you were aware of where it stands right now.
I think funding is still the question, though, right?
You know about that.
Yeah.
Funding.
We really wanted this to happen by the end of the year, but even when they were talking about it, when the consultant was talking about it, I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know how all these pieces could come together. You know, the funding, all that has to happen, because there has to be some physical things done on Main Street as well. So anyway.
Okay, Beaver Creek Road School speed code. Yeah, it says safe. In effect, until something changes with the safe routes to school, are we not done with that?
You know, one thing that seemed interesting to me is in an attempt put together this plan, he had trouble finding 3 parents that. Did I understand rightly? Has concerns
Yes.
about?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
He had troubles.
Okay.
You did.
Okay, bicycle safety treatments.
The last meeting, I was just asked to get information on Sharrows, and everything I printed and included it in the packet, and I got it from the city of Portland. And that is something that they are in the circulation study. They are talking about Sharrows.
Yes.
Nancy Walters brought it up too.
Yeah, I think the reason it came about was that we were starting to see a lot more of those kind of curb extensions that were going into the roadways, and felt that well, I know of some people that were, you know, traveling along, and all of a sudden, you know, they hit the curb and unexpectedly. So it's out of personal knowledge that people were getting having interference with those curb extensions, and then so I just brought those examples of what they're doing in other parts of town, not Oregon City, but Beaverton and Portland. And then I guess because of the traffic circulation plan, the two-way, they're planning to remove all of those curb extensions anyway, because they're going to need to do that in order to make enough room for the two-way traffic. So I guess as far as that area is concerned, you know, you're not going to have the curbs. Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I think we were talking about at a minimum, if there's budget to put the reflectors on the you know, where the strike would be nice, yeah, just to get some visual warning. Okay.
The reflectors seem to be really effective in the uptake on there too, in the pictures that they were showing there.
They're all over other parts of the country, I mean, other parts of the metropolitan area. So I think we'll be seeing more of them as time goes by, but we don't have, you know, as many bicyclists along here either. Yes.
Okay, McLaughlin neighborhood concerns, and that's the concerns we're right up here on 6th.
Yeah. We did some restriping. You know, and so, and look at that one as well. Although I think your main concern was that one too. That's again. Also, last for, I mean, that's been a long-term problem. I know it's that's
Okay. Signal configuration itself, second 99E. Did we have a new problem there?
That was a concern from a citizen.
In the paper.
Yeah. The only question is, at this point, is we'd like ODOT to be the ones to respond to this letter of their own that maybe doesn't have as much information. Still have usage purposes. We saw this in mind, they have this. I need to contact ODOT and ask them to, if they would write a letter to the
Yeah. Especially right now.
Yeah. So maybe not. I don't think he said that they don't. Then what I'd like to do is make a real concise kind of letter, try to get people to our website. That's, the bottom line is that there's a concern for the two signal head for the through traffic. So if you're southbound on 99E, right now there's a turn. Any through traffic signaling like that. Needed for that.
I think we've actually gotten, were there two letters to the editor? Or,
No,
I've gotten-
one letter to the editor or one email.
yeah, there were two complaints or concerns. Okay. Just in case you guys said, what are you doing about that letter to the editor? Ron is all over it.
John was all
All
over
right,
it.
John. Well, and it's so much better than when there was no signal there at all. Some of us would remember
I'm the one that designed it, so you're welcome.
Actually, there's a picture that ODOT gave the city that I requested when we were working on the tunnel project. It shows that when the tunnel was built, a dirt road going up through there. This probably wasn't a traffic light there either.
Probably wasn't.
Said Arts Cafe wouldn't be viable anymore, and yet there's a business there, and they're thriving.
That was the owner of Arts at the time.
Yeah.
He didn't understand that it was going to make it better. It,
Construction projects update.
I don't think we have any construction project updates.
Well, I
Yeah,
can
I'm
go
doing it.
back on my running down the road, driving down the road, I don't know. Anyway, that project is done, and I think with the results, the other projects is, Myers. And we are having some problems with that, because of the problem, we asked them to be, 8.5, so they, basically from Frontier Parkway all the way to Myers to Moxon down Moxon. On the other end is down here. So that piece is finished, except for the driveways and the shoulder line. We built the intersection, striping, those kind of things, but project really nicely. It's been over, so now it's being deal with the, but it really does drive much better than I thought it would. We didn't do a lot of it. Between South Street and Tony, that's still a plan. I'm worried about weather. We've got storm drains. And we've got a major conflict right now. We talked about this before. Diesel marketing, but not sidewalks.
You're filling in the ditch story, yeah?
We are on one side. This is on both sides of that. So basically, what's going on from Ormond to Highfield, out and be on your front side. So connect all the sidewalks there. So sidewalk Highfield then kind of do the same thing up here. That's when we fix some drainage issues. They don't have to vote right. A lot of calls about where it's on sidewalks. Started suggesting, we started asking for the right.
I think they are. I think they are. Yes.
Maybe not. I don't know how far we'll go with that. Outreach to the
Yes.
We do have construction on Main Street.
That's right. Main Street is another one that I know a little bit about. We're doing storm drainage projects. So we finished the water line project, which was a big one. And that work is that's done. It's at work with the gate. That's our little piece of the one, 2 days, it's more than 100 feet. They're basically disconnecting the sanitary system, putting it in a form pipe, and taking it to the storm drain. If the storm drain system not to do with that, it's not to do with it. Even kind of behind the easy thing, so you do it's done. That kind of sidewalk. That's moved along, they're working nights now.
It's helpful. Did the
Water lines on, oh, yeah, we haven't had so many complaints from residents. Why are they marking our streets?
Was the TAC invited to the trolley? You all?
Yes.
I went on that. That was a great chance to see the completed projects from this year, the major projects that up at,
We visited, the walk, there was a short walk along
Promenade.
and then on a trolley.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty.
There's a water a water drain feature, that's cool.
There's also the sidewalk that it's water. And on the yeah, rains are
Yes.
some people like that.
I like it, yeah.
Yes. That was discussed. Yeah.
So, okay, it restriped it for the first second, so
The only real users of that turn lane were Felix's, where they pull their big trucks in until they're pulling into the yard, and PGE when they're pulling the repair trucks in that center lane and parking them for a period of time. So big open gates.
For the Holcomb project, did you get a chance to check into those Cobra fixtures and whether they're going to be shut down, shut off? And? Yeah.
Overheads are requirement of the development across the street. It's an option.
Well, it's inconsistent, you know, I mean, there's certainly, I think when that development went in, there were no lights, and so I'm sure that, you know, I mean, it's weird because that section is lit even though there are no entrances or, into, I mean, there's no turn off, yeah, and then when you get to, the Oak Tree Terrace, which is a turn-in lane, right? It's a, you know, these are the development. There is no light there, which is really dangerous. And then you go further up Holcomb, and they don't even have they don't have full cutoff fixtures on that area either. And there's only one tunnel on that side. So it's very inconsistent, and you know, I think that certain areas are overlit and other areas are not. So, I mean, it would be even wonderful if we could, you know, replace some of those, those old style fixtures that are really, you know, they have, I mean, they're pushing light out in every direction, and I don't even know if they're high pressure sodium fixtures, but they're definitely, you know, bad news for dark sky. And if we could, you know, upgrade, I don't know what that takes, but I would think that for those lights that are just past, the church on, just past the corner. I can't imagine that they're not doing anything for anybody. There's nothing there. You know, there's just the sidewalk. And we're already getting light from the other side. I mean, it's sufficient for other sections of that road. So it seems kind of strange that we would have lights along that area. I'll have to spend tonight on it, but I would like to have additional conversation with you about it, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. I think, what I did was I noticed the difference of just walking myself. They had some questions about, exactly what we're looking at. My biggest concern is, the neighborhood's gonna, have a problem. So, spot and all of that. I think it could probably. There are several options.
Okay. Well, it's funny because Don was telling me that just at the meeting that somebody told him that they thought that the new fixtures were so ugly they don't know why the city paid for them. So I mean, obviously, you know, there's a lot of subjective interpretation for what's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only person that told me that.
You have a fair amount of players driving off the road.
I hadn't noticed that, so I love them.
I like it too. I think they look great. I don't think we need all those extra lights that are you know, in that one. I mean, there's no houses there. It's just across from the housing authority, the upper upper property.
That development is on the other side of the ravines where the house
There's
is.
nothing there. And
There's
how much those that for?
a sidewalk that comes out there from the development that was put in by the development when they built it. But, so, yeah.
That's clear that it's subjective.
And, the dollars for religious facilities.
Oh yeah, no, I understand. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue to we'll see what we can gather from as far as neighborhood input.
Okay, membership.
Just letting you know that
We have 3 people that need to renew their memberships.
there's three positions. Their terms are expiring, and Betty Shacksmith, Don Slack, and Nancy Walters, and Don's indicated that he is going to take some time off, and
Who has?
Don Slack has indicated he's taking some time off. And so anyway, it's that time of the year. Nancy, the recorder, is heavily recruiting. She's put it on the website and put it in the paper, and lots of committees are going to have vacancies. We have received one application for a vacancy, and the other item is Betty Mumm is who is our Chamber of Commerce representative. The Chamber of Commerce has selected another person to be the chamber representative, and that person still has to fill out an application, be appointed by the mayor, and then that appointment needs to be confirmed by the city commission. So anyway, just a little bit of changing of the guard there, I guess.
More hoops to jump through.
Dale? Oh.
I did have a phone conversation.
The fireman? Oh, that's Dale. Something Dale. D-A-L-E.
One place to look would be the neighborhood associations, because typically, hopefully, they have a pulse of what's going on in their neighborhood. So.
Well,
There are some active ones now.
The vacancies, I know, the neighborhood association that I just had, I passed out the list that Nancy sent out for all the vacancies and encouraged the neighbors to step up and do something. I don't know if they will, but
I'm not even sure what positions you fill. You know, are you an at-large member? Are you a
I'm pretty large. I'm
an at-large member?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So I don't know what they, you want to make sure that the city is covered, is covered pretty
Well,
well.
that's why I suggest the neighborhoods, because typically they're.
what's popular.
I am in the Southern neighborhood, but I am member at large.
Yeah. Two of them. Two. Oh, and Jonathan's still from.
Okay, TSP update.
Well, I passed out that email, and Nancy has that very well covered in her email.
Late next spring, early summer. Okay.
Yes, it looks like the TAC is going to be involved.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said something in there about providing 30 study intercessors, and I remember that they were putting that together, and they gave ODOT 30 study intersections, and they said, that's way too much. Yeah, very good. No, Curtis.
So this has been what we've been looking for. This is exciting.
Yes.
And the bond email, did we already discuss that?
No, I apologize, Ron. First of all, your email address has nothing to do with your name, so I'm not searching for your email. You might long notes of emails, but I did find it when I was on that. So, we said, Friday, runs the section board. This is in the big area of the road. Center Harbor, on the west corner of the west side lane. It is very cool. Before the Wheeler Road meet. That's a very easy one. That's nice to have to look at. Figure out if it's something we need to do or we need to have code enforcement on the problem.
I think it's some of their, I'll say bushes, but whatever they are, they could be rhododendrons, whatever. But if you're coming up Cleveland Road into town, you turn left on McCord, people have a tendency, like we were talking about earlier, instead of 35, they go on 40 or so, or whatever, it's off the bat. You can't see it if you're trying to turn left. You really got to, onto McCord, you really got to pay attention to what's going on. I've learned that because guy was coming up pretty, it didn't hit me or come close, but it woke me up. That you really have to, we take our dog out there for a ride, and she gets all excited. The cows will be coming that way back home quite often.
Striping is one that we're kind of got the same problem on Beach Road. I don't know if everybody's ever been to Beach Road. Beach Road is a mess.
Yes.
We've done some things to kind of, I say we, operations, paving crews, and done some things to widen out some of the narrower areas. There's curb extensions. I'm not really sure where the design center line exactly is. For all these development projects to get approved and, get reviewed, but I just want to be confident. And I'm talking about going on with this. That's what all the time. I'm not sure how much tries to do much for it, but I do believe delineation of traffic markers down on the end of the trees make a whole bunch of sense. The problem is, if I follow that center line stripe and that one segment right there, then you get to the other segments on either end, and that's just not being economical. What tends to happen is people slow way down. Unless everybody else wants to get in there.
Hello, Fern's happy.
Fine.
He'll tell if he's not.
The other one was the speed going up Glen Avenue.
Right. Right.
So we look at that also, and part of the challenge that I have is we posted this in law, not a very user sign program. And look, in order to move 25-mile-an-hour sign, I really need to look at the speed safe for that, check out. You were suggesting it was maybe 35 back down if you wanted.
That's either way, actually, but I don't know, you get people wanting to travel real close to you, you go to speed limit at 25, there's a policeman gonna give you a ticket for going 35 and the signs clear up the road. Well, then I'd be scared.
But what we're noticing, or what we observed, was that there's 25-mile-an-hour corner sign that really kind of take you all the way up and around that corner. Really the only good spot for that 35-mile-an-hour sign to do that.
I don't disagree there.
So, I think the 25-mile-an-hour going up the hill is signed properly, and we move. I think the 35-mile-an-hour sign is going up the hill is signed the right way, given all the corners that go into it. Trying to move the 25-mile-an-hour sign further up the hill, so the traffic is coming down. May have some problems associated with it. Has been studied.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if it goes all the way down that far, it may.
But you could go 35 miles an hour to drive the street on that.
You could. Close to 25 miles an hour.
I'll keep doing that. Very good.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I'd be concerned about opening that topic back up.
Yes.
That is a lot.
It's just a case you got 2 blocks with 2 different speed zones. Going on the same road.
It is a little inconsistent. That's not,
that's how we got into this before.
Sometimes
The fluctuation in the speeds and the state said do this and that wasn't appreciated. Okay, future agenda items. I'd like information back onto what we're doing for these folks on South End. Anybody else have any other recommendations for future agenda items? Okay, with that, we are adjourned. 37 minutes early. Yay.